Her and her boyfriend from like North Carolina just came down here and didn't have any money or nothing. And every day they'd tell her, "Wendy, where are you going to get your job for?" You know, I told her waitressing is not in season right now. She was about to need me a job. And later on I found out that she did get a job, but not as a waitress like she wanted, but she worked for Cassie, and she was out on her own with her boyfriend, with her husband. So it was really cool because she was addicted to crack for a long time.
Praise the Lord. She's free now?
Yeah.
Good.
I've got to go see her. I keep needing to see her.
Okay, so if we really believe this, then believing then is an action. To believe is to act. I mean, that's just in its simplest form. If I believe, I mean, you can watch your life. According to what you believe is what you do. If you believe that you're going to get something out of church tonight, you show up. You come to church. If you don't think it's worth your while, you don't. If you believe God answers prayer, you take time and pray, because you act upon what you believe, and so you spend time praying.
Right.
And if you believe that your car is going to crank up and get you home, you'll go out there and crank it up and go home here in just a little bit. So you govern your life basically by what you believe, good or bad, either way.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, you still govern your life by what you believe. So the key is we've got to believe right in order to get right results.
Amen.
Again, that sounds real easy, and it is written simply in the Bible, but we've done a good job of confusing it. Look in Mark the 11th chapter. Let's go there for a minute. Praise the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mark chapter 11, it's a very famous chapter, faith chapter, but we'll look at it in a moment. Verse 22, Jesus answering said unto them, have faith in God. Some Bibles have that as a note, have the faith of God or the God kind of faith. Any of those are fine. Have faith in God, believe God, trust God, have the faith of God. God's kind of faith is the whole crux of the matter. In other words, believe God.
Right. That's what mine amplifies, right?
Constantly.
Verse 23 talks about it here. It says, for verily or truly I say to you, that whosoever, that would be each of our names in there, whosoever, shall say, now when we say something, it comes out of our mouth, right?
Right.
Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he says shall come to pass, then he will have whatsoever he says. So here we see a law of faith. The same kind of faith God operated in and operates in. And that is that we believe in our heart and we say out of our mouth. That's followed up in Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10, I believe it is. Yeah. It says, if you believe in your heart that Jesus was raised from the dead, and you confess with your mouth that He's your Lord, you're saved. That's a famous scripture for helping people to come to Jesus. Believe in your heart. He died for you. He didn't stay dead. He come out of the grave, defeated death. And because of that, He's Lord. Do you believe He's Lord? You have to confess that. Yes, I believe it. Now I'm going to say it. He's my Lord. Well, that's the law of the Spirit here. It ties in with verse 23 here. Jesus said, truly I say to you that if you say to the mountain, be removed, mountain being huge obstacle.
Anything.
Yeah, I mean, a mountain is huge. You stand at the bottom of a mountain, you're nothing to that mountain.
That's right.
But Jesus said, if you would say to that mountain, that huge obstacle, be removed, and even in fact be cast into the sea, get out of here, and don't doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass.
Amen.
You'll have it. Okay, so isn't that like saying, I believe Jesus defeated everything, including death. which is the ultimate enemy.
Right.
And the final end of sickness, disease, everything leads to death. He defeated everything that leads to death and death, and came out of the grave as Lord.
Yeah.
So, as I call him Lord, I'm saying you are in charge, victorious over everything. Period. Everything.
Yeah.
Isn't that what then we're saying here? If we say to the obstacle in front of us, get out of the way, don't doubt, but believe what we say will come to pass, then we'll have it. Why? Because it's the law of faith. And we're calling Jesus Lord over that mountain. In other words, the mountain of problem's got to go. Most of us think of that in Romans 10 as just going to heaven salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God it is. It's a good thing. I want to go to heaven and I'm on my way.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has to do with various things that occur in your life. He wants to be Lord of your life naturally.
Right.
So, if I believe in my heart that He defeated that which I'm facing, that mountainous object that I'm facing, and if I believe it so much that my first action of belief is saying He's Lord over it, then I'll have it. I'll have His Lordship over it. I'll have victory over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have response. The mountain will move.
Yeah.
Because why? Because that law of faith, believing in my heart and saying out of my mouth, and then, of course, the fact of the matter is that it's not me moving the mountain, it's not even my words moving the mountain, it's the God of the universe, Jesus the Christ, doing it because
Glory.
He's given us that authority.
Glory.
And He operates by faith.
God does it, we speak it. We
Yeah.
and God, we
Right.
speak it, and God does it.
God does it. It's not, it's,
'Cause He
we
watches
can't get
over
into this
His word.
pride thing. What?
He watches over His word to perform
That's
it.
right. That's Jeremiah 1 something.
Well, you know, one of the
Yeah.
verses, because through the years of being a pastor or witnessing to others, there has been this frustration because I came out of a church that was very weak in the Word. And it was, I think, pretty much they believed everybody's saved. And they relied so on that verse about confessing with your lips, because a lot of people confess with their lips.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, at least for the moment, they believed in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
One of the kind of corrected scriptures that I feel like comes out of the Word is when Jesus says to the I think Pharisees, He says, you confess with your lips, but your heart is far from me.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Sure. Well,
And another thing,
Isaiah 55,
yeah.
and 11.
Another thing that relates to what he said that I have learned recently in my life, probably like the last year or so, is that in order to believe, the word believe, if you look at every concordance, is to obey, is to believe the commandments and do that. It's not just, Jesus is, you know, Lord. I mean, sure, you can say that, and you know that's good, but believing is not just, I know there's a Jesus.
No.
It's actually believing is to
relational.
and that, because I was taught something different. I was taught, you know,
all you got to do, and that's why the sinner's prayer sometimes is misleading.
Right.
I did it.
Right.
It's done. Okay.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I remember having people, you know, and I appreciate so much the people that have the willingness, the desire, and the boldness, like even at the county fair, to be there and have a booth.
Right.
But I had people saying, so this it? Am I saved now? And it's like, you know, and they meant it. I mean, they were sincere. Am I done? Is it okay? And then go on and ride the next ride. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I
made it.
Let's do a little. And it's like, but the enemy deceives all over the place.
Yeah. And then they're lost the next day, maybe.
God,
That's
it's
so
sad.
sad.
It's like, and that's why this whole thing about belief. There's just such much misunderstanding.
Well, some people
it's
just
like that's just like you said earlier. I've used that many times. That it's not just intellectual.
No.